What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another beautiful self-isolation day here in the great state of Texas. Hope all of you are doing well, but to help us pass the time, we're hopping back out into the garage to work on the RTR Spec 2 to find out where the engine failed. It's been far too long since I came out here and touched this engine, considering we're all locked away in our homes. I should have been working on this thing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get the oil pan off, flip this thing upside down, and see if we can figure out why this thing is locked up and how that liquid got in it. Since I'm lazy, I've been trying to take all this off here within this tire because, as you saw in the video where we took out the engine stand that I got sucked, and I haven't wanted to spend the money to go get another one. It'd help to have some type of rotisserie form one to do this, to flip it over, but again, I'm lazy and I'm cheap. Right now, I'm trying to take off the flywheel so I can get to the bolts back here. I already have the majority of them off. I just have two here, and then I think two up front to get the oil pan off, which does still have oil in it. And then we're gonna try and flip this thing over and see what we can do from the other side. We have all the bolts off for the oil pan, except for one bolt right here. You can kind of see right there. It also houses a nut where you put a ground wire onto it, and I'm having trouble getting that bolt out. It is a 15 millimeter, and I can't find my deep well 15, and it's too thick of a lip down there to be able to get my 15 wrench. So we're in a bit of a dilemma. I apologize for lying. This actually was a 13. It was just that my big fat hand couldn't get in there to grab it, and I thought it was something bigger. I guess I was grabbing maybe the back end of it. Regardless, I was able to get a wrench in there and I got this thing off. So now we should be able to just lift the engine off the oil pan. Trying to get this thing here off, pried it apart from the oil pan, but I think the majority of my oil is now dumping out onto the ground. So for anybody who wants to try and do all their work from a tire, just know probably not the best way to do it if you want to keep your garage clean. So if you ever try to do any work to your engine and do it completely off of a tire, know that it's probably best to drain the oil, because my attempt to do all this without draining the oil and just lift the pan, as you can see, did not turn out too well, did it, Gab? No, it did not.
We have to bust out the kitty litter.
Chevy!
Drew gave it to me!
From the top, it looks like we had two cylinders that dropped out, so we're going to take off the pickup tube here and get underneath there and see what it looks like. So we're still not able to turn this thing over, of course, so we are taking out the crankshaft and we're going to pull out the pistons and try and figure out what it is. Right now, Gabby is helping me pull out the bottom end so we can get in here and figure out what's going on. I do need to remove this back plate though, because I'm not able to really get a socket on these ones here because they're so close to this. And then once we do that, we should be able to hopefully pop this thing loose. We're probably gonna have to pull off that front end there too. So let's get to that, and then hopefully this thing will slide out, right?
Yes.
You're so energetic. Okay, so we got all our top bolts out. Now we need to go through here and get all of our side bolts out so we can pull the crankshaft out. Alright, we got most of it taken apart. Front cover off. Got the rear cover off. Got all our bracing across here. Now we just need to start removing the pistons. I tried wiggling this thing as is, and it doesn't move, so we're definitely going to have to disconnect the pistons. Again, new to this, so if you are too, just know that you may have to disassemble the pistons before you can move anything, because everything is just jammed up in there. I think we found our problem. So if you look in this one, you can kind of see where it's gouged out around there in the bearing. But if we look at its partner right here, that thing is falling apart in there. There's shrapnel. It is definitely a failure right there. Be careful when working on these. It's very sharp, and I keep slicing my hand wide open every time I touch one of these edges. Okay, looking into the cylinders, it looks like everything around here is okay. There's a little bit of dirt in here, but that was just from me pulling the thing out, which I should have been a little bit better at keeping it clean. But we will do a full clean and once over of the engine before trying to put anything back in. All dirt that was just kind of picked up from me grabbing onto that rag and then taking out the crankshaft. But it seems pretty good. Definitely gonna have to have it fully cleaned and checked over to make sure it's good, but I believe that the block is gonna be saved. And if we're finding a point of failure, here it is right here. This is our bearing. As you can see, it's flattened out on that side from where it was rubbing up against the crankshaft. You can see all the grooves here. Part of it is missing, especially on the inside. You can see chunks of it are completely gone. So this was our failure in the engine, and this is what did it. When we come in here, we can see some grinding, and then where the oil flows in to help keep this rotating, we got chunks of metal in that hole too. So that's not good. On this side, we do have some scraping going on here that you can see. So I'm probably going to replace both the crankshaft and then some of the pistons, but the block and everything else seems like it is salvageable. When I'm coming in here looking at some of the pistons, none of them look like they're really that bad. I do believe I damaged one taking it out, and then on this first piston that I took out, some of the piston rings were jacked. So I don't know, I figure eventually if we're going to do boost, if we want to consider boost, or if we just don't want any failures in the future, it's time to upgrade these anyway. So upgrading this and the crankshaft I think will be a big help to us. That about does it for us today. We found out what was wrong with the engine. We're gonna start hopping online to price out the parts that we need to take care of to get the thing fixed. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we're gonna be able to salvage this block and the rest of the parts, just replacing the pistons and the crank. In the next episode, what we're gonna be doing is pulling this out of the garage, making sure everything fits and is where it should be so we can get ready to prep it for paint and the Spec 5 fender flares. Until next time, peace.